Well, good morning, good people. Can you believe that it is already Monday, June 21st? Well, welcome to the Daily Word. It won't be long before July 4 is upon us, when we celebrate the independence of the United States. It will be the first July 4 since the pandemic that many of us will be able to celebrate freely and watch fireworks displays. It's also a time in the midst of growing divisions to examine who we are as a people. Without a doubt, we are a flawed nation. Injustices and wrongs exist, and they must not be ignored. They're real, but that's not the whole story. So I want to balance that today, and I want to encourage my Christian brothers and sisters to chart a course for national healing. What we need to cultivate begins with 1 Peter 2:17. Honor all people. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the king. So first, honor everyone, no matter what their race, ethnicity, condition in life, or position. Second, honor the brotherhood, and that means other believers, no matter what trespass we may think them guilty of. Third thing, honor those in authority, kings and rulers, presidents and legislators, mayors and governors, pastors and leaders. I love my country. Any believer should love whatever country they hail from, because nations are made up of people. Our nations are home and they are family. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it becomes nationalism, it can become idolatry. When it begins to blend love of country with devotion to God, then lines get crossed. My nation has never been perfect. Early in our history, America enslaved Africans and practiced genocide against my own Native American ancestors. That's a fact. It's also undeniable that slavery sowed into the culture of our nation a prejudice that's been difficult to overcome. Slavery was wicked, it was sick, and it was wrong. And it destroyed everyone involved, from the slaves themselves to the people who owned them. It seems to have become fashionable today to vilify the whole nation for that original sin. But that approach will never really change anything. It'll never bring real healing, because it only perpetuates hatred and division. By contrast, we can choose to take a different tack that might help heal some very old wounds. Historically, real Christians have always overcome evil with good. Listen to the Apostle Paul. Philippians 4:8. Finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there's any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. Or we need to consider Jesus calling us to love our enemies and do good to them. Our founding fathers might have been slave owners. They were. Slave owners whose cultural conditioning blinded them to the full implications of the ideals they held and that they wrote into the foundation of the nation. But nevertheless, they were inspired to set in motion a set of values and ideals of freedom for all of us, of every race, that have driven the course of the nation since then. And it's important that we focus on that. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure. They wrote, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, in the 245 years since the Declaration of Independence, we've moved ever more steadily toward a more complete realization of what they saw only in part. It's been a long road, but it's happened. Obviously, there's a lot more to do. But to fail to recognize and celebrate progress is to set progress back. Where racism, even systemic racism, is concerned, if we laser focus only on that and similar issues that linger in our midst, we'll fail to see the whole story. We won't be able to feed and build on the good and the holy that has existed from the start, right alongside the evil and the injustice. The Founding Fathers didn't see it all, not even the full implications of their own words and convictions. But we've seen an unfolding revelation of these things from that day until this. In the current atmosphere, We need to remember and dwell on the goodness of the Christian white people of the abolitionist movement who labored to end slavery in the years leading to the Civil War. They did it at risk of their own lives and livelihoods. Many of them became part of the Underground Railroad, helping runaway slaves escape to the North. They risked death and imprisonment to fight injustice and oppression because they saw and they owned the revelation they read in the Bible and the words of the Founding Fathers that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We need to remember as well the hundreds of thousands of white Americans who fought and died in the Civil War on the side of the North to free those slaves. Abraham Lincoln faced tremendous opposition to his Emancipation Proclamation that declared freedom for those enslaved in January 1863. He did it in part as a strategy to win the war, but Lincoln had always hated slavery. In 1854, 9 years prior, he gave a speech in Peoria, Illinois. Here's a quote. He said, "If the Negro is a man, why then my ancient faith teaches me that all men are created equal, and that there can be no moral right in connection with one man's making a slave of another." So in obedience to the Apostle Paul's call to dwell on whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there's any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, then we start by focusing on the progress made in order to build on the progress that yet needs to be made. The point is that we, the people of the United States, have been trying to do better, to balance the scales, sometimes against vicious opposition, but we've done it as a nation. There's more to do, but a lot has been done. We've come a very long way. It's past time now to stop fighting among ourselves and celebrate some of that. It's time to stop focusing on our very real systemic injustices as if they were the whole picture. We can't ignore those things. We shouldn't ignore those things. But blindly focusing on them to the exclusion of other things, other positive things, will change no one's heart. It will only feed the cancer of hate rooted in anger and condemnation. So instead, let's recognize and celebrate that in less than a generation, we've brought down Jim Crow laws in the South, integrated our society, our schools, and our workplaces, integrated our military, and passed laws that prohibit discrimination and enforce equal opportunity. As a culture, within my lifetime, we've gone from judging and condemning interracial marriage to hardly giving it a second thought. I would estimate that of all the marriages I've had the honor to perform over the last 15 or more years, more than half were interracial. We've gone from African Americans being locked out of public office and denied positions of authority at a time when decorated black war heroes came home to be called boy, to a time when mayors of some of our major cities are black. We've had a black president. We have top military commanders who are black. Obviously, there's more to do, but we've made huge strides. The way forward requires that we repent of our failure to honor one another in love, whether it's fathers, mothers, authorities, or people of another skin color. Where honor is given, and where we begin to truly hear one another, healing follows. So I'll say it again, feed the good by dwelling on it and building on past gains. Philippians 4:8 again, finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there is any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. God bless you all. Have a great week.